Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie and this is my Cream Puff Nova, and I've been online reselling part-time since 2002. And it's not gonna be May, but it was May, and I made $3,694 in profit selling on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. Now last month in my videos, I split them into two sections. One of them was for toys and plush, and the other one was what I called the best of the rest. And I split those into two videos because I figured not everyone sells toys and plush, so they might want to have separate videos. So last week on my Instagram page, I did a poll and asked, do you want me to repeat that same style for my two videos again this month, or do you want me to mix it up and see what comes out of the grab bag? And the vote was about 50-50. So what I'm going to do is this month I am going to do a huge grab bag so you can get a real good sampling of what I sell. I think this is going to give you a better picture of what I sell. It's not just toys and plush. It's not just everything else. It really is a little bit of everything. You know, it's kind of like one of those snack bags. You know, you just don't know if you're going to get the rye chip or the pretzel. I don't know. I sell everything. So as long as it doesn't move. I'm not selling you Nova. As long as it doesn't move, I sell it. And I don't really sell a whole lot of clothes, but you will see some of that here. And I just want to say real quick, before I started this video, my son walked in here and asked me what I was wearing. It's not like he's Joan Rivers or anything, but I'm like, have you never seen me dressed like Zebra Stripe Gum before? Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first item that I have here is this Zia Zhang. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's a cologne and it's by Revlon, and I picked this up at an estate sale for $5. And this is a smaller bottle, but as you can see, it was pretty much full, so I labeled it 99% full. And also, when I'm taking pictures of items that possibly could have been used, I also take a picture of it on a scale, so the buyer knows exactly how much in ounces they are getting. So there's just no mystery, no question. Now obviously this has the weight of the bottle included in it, but that gives the buyer more confidence when you put it on a scale. And you can see my scale here has been through the ringer here. Okay. So our next item is this Pottery Barn duvet set. This is a duvet set, so it's almost like a sheet. It goes over a comforter basically. And I paid $11 for this at a thrift store for this entire set. I don't know if you can see this very well here, but it had not only the duvet, but also these 4 sets of shams. And it was pretty much like new when I picked it up. And this one took me almost a year maybe to sell this set, but what was nice about it is because it wasn't a comforter, it was pretty small, only about that big, not very deep at all, so it didn't take up that much space. Anyway, so I bought it for $11 and I flipped it for $90. Up next I have this Jack Be Quick Thanksgiving cardigan sweater, and this sold, I think, overnight. I paid $1 for this at an estate sale and I sold it for $50. It's one of these ugly sweater type things, but it had this really cool, interesting Thanksgiving pattern to it, and it was just really unique. There were none others like it currently listed, and the way I priced this out was I looked up other ones from the same brand to see what they had sold for, and priced it a little bit higher because, again, I was the only one in town that had the sweater. And honestly, I was a little surprised it's so quick because it was a petite size. But, you know, it had the perfect imagery on it here. Up next is this Aiden and Anae Bamboo Lovey. And I've talked about Loveys in one of my previous videos. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. But this one here is very plain. There is no animal head on it at all. It's basically like a scrap of fabric that, I don't know, you would maybe use to clean. But it's just like a tiny blanket, basically. It was really soft. It did have some flaws, which of course I disclosed. There's this really pretty teal color, and I bought this for $2.50 locally, and I flipped it for $60. And the great thing about this is I have one more just like it that I need to list, and I should be able to get the same amount, if not maybe a little bit more. Alright, this here I paid $2 for this wet set pool inflatable air mat. And this was retro. It has the date down here at the bottom from 1982. It's just slightly older than me. And it sold for $34. For some reason, people like these old vintage pool toys. Now this one to me just looked like something you can get from the Dollar Tree or Walmart currently for $1, but I don't know. I always, you know, people might want the nostalgia of the package. Sometimes, you know, you gotta think, I don't know, maybe they're buying it for a movie or a TV set or something like that. They just, I don't know. So just think about those things. When you see things that are common when you're outsourcing and they are, you know, they're vintage, they're old, think about people that are buying for movies and props and stuff like that. Okay, this next item is a Teavana tea strainer, and I accidentally picked this up at an estate sale. I thought this filter went with a coffee pot that I was buying also. I didn't see that it said Teavana on the side. I just saw, you know, the back of it when I picked it up, or the top. And I just grabbed it and threw it in the bag of stuff that I had. So I paid about $1 for this, and I sold it for $20. And this is just a filter. So this is one of those things. If you see something, you're not sure what it is, look it up. Somebody might be looking for it, and they definitely were looking for this. It didn't sell. Didn't take that long to sell at all. And this next item is a Terminator Salvation toy that I got at the store that shall not be named for $4. And this one did take quite a while again to sell. But I like to look up any new in package items at all. New in package toys generally do real well, but this one sold for $34. This next one is a Lego set I picked up. I can't remember if I got this one at Target or at a bin store that's in town, but I paid $10.74 for this item, and it sold for $65. And it's this Lego set here. Lego is always hot, almost always, I say. And so that sold for $65. Okay, this next item is a Disney Store Little Einstein's Annie talking plush doll. And I bought this doll at the Lakeland Antique Mall. That's in Lakeland, Florida. We were down there, you know, going to Disney World. You know, my favorite. We're at Disney World, and we had a free day. So I wanted to go to this antique store that I heard another YouTuber talk about. His channel's name is Paging Mr. Morrow. If you haven't watched that channel, you definitely should if you're a Disney fan. Anyways, he goes to this antique store, and this store is so cool. There's lots of Disney merchandise, memorabilia. It's a little bit almost like a museum in certain spots. But then there's also the regular antique store merchandise too. Tons and tons of antique store merchandise. We were in the store for 3 hours. So I didn't look up too many things because my family was with me. I didn't want to take too much time, but I did look up a handful of plush, and I found this doll for $5, and she sold for $50. Alright, this next one here is a vintage whistle monkey that I picked up for 75 cents at an estate sale, and he sold in just a few days. Somebody was looking for this kind of obscene looking plush. I mean, I don't know about that, but he did work. He whistles. But yeah, $50 for this monkey. Okay, I paid $2 for this Florida Gators brooch pin, and this I picked up before the pandemic, and I was so sure that it was going to sell pretty quickly once, you know, football season rolled around, and well, we all know how that played out. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend that if you see anything that's collegiate, football, any kind of sport, that you look at it. Now this one I couldn't find a comp for, so I just kind of made up a price that sounded good for this guy, and I thought $25 was fair for this really cool brooch. Yep, next is this Vintage Country Classics tree skirt, and I got this at a thrift store, I think it was, that was closing. One of my friends, Shanda, had told me about the store. She'd already been there earlier that day and picked what she wanted out of it. And so she said, hey Stephanie, you gotta come on down here. They still have a lot of stuff. So, and everything's $1, she said. It's like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna come. So yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff. I think I spent $25 there at the store. It was huge. It was a huge store. And there were a lot of resellers there. Anyways, I got this Christmas tree skirt, and I paid only $1 for it, and it sold, I think, in just a few days for $25. And it's just one of these thin cotton type pieces of fabric. So what it was is you'd buy this piece of fabric, and you would, you know, cut it out and then sew the eyelet trim around it. So that's exactly what this is. Just like a little craft project for somebody. Okay, this next item I got at this epic church sale that my sister and I went on. I guess it was about a month ago at this point in time. This is a Mr. Christmas floating animated tree top. Okay, and I paid $2 for this. The sale that we went to was incredible. We got so much good stuff. But like I said before, if you have something that lights up or should do something and you can capture it in a static photo, do that. As you can see, I have this one lit up here so the buyer can see that it does work. And so $2 into $100, and this one sold in a few days. Mr. Christmas, this brand here is definitely a bolo. If you see any of this brand, Mr. Christmas, definitely look it up. Okay, so this next item is a Mary Engelbreit sewing pin cushion that I picked up at a yard sale for $1. It was actually in a bag of other Mary Engelbreit items, and I had 2 of these pin cushions. So I made one listing. I sold one on eBay and the other one on Mercari. So this one sold for $29. Okay, this next one here is a Ty Pluffies Pursley White Kitty Cat from 2008. And I've talked about Pluffies and Stuffies before and my best sales. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. Ty Pluffies and Buddies, always, always, always look them up. Don't bother with the Beanie Babies. I know there might be some that are worth money, but you're going to kind of be spinning your wheels looking for comps on those. Anyways, Ty Pluffies and Buddies are almost always a winner. This one here sold for $86.95, and I paid... Are you okay down there? And I paid 50 cents for this guy. And he probably took about 6 months or so to sell. But the buyer was really happy. She said she was buying it for a birthday gift. Okay, this next item was a side of the road find, believe it or not. Yes, a free pair of shoes sitting on the side of the road, brand new in box. And this sold in a few days. And they were a larger size, so I was quite surprised that they sold so quickly. But they were these cute Mary Jane style shoes that I sold for $60, and you know, completely free. So that was a size 12. And the last item I'm going to share with you on eBay is this box of Skinny Girl Cranberry Cosmo Keurig cups. And I bought these at a bin store sometime last year, probably around September, October, for $1. And they sold for $28.95. And if you see any like discontinued flavors of tea, gum, candy, certain things like that, people are just addicted. They like what they like. And they're willing to pay for it even if they are past expiration date. And if they are, just make sure you're really clear in your description, you know, that it's past the expiration date. Alright, so we're moving on to Facebook Marketplace. Up first, I have this vintage old xylophone, and I didn't actually know this. These are actually called a glockenspiel, but I put the word xylophone in here because I figure that not everyone's gonna know that this is what this is actually called. Anyways, I picked this up at a thrift store, and it was actually in like a suitcase almost with a drum, and I already sold that drum a couple months ago, I think, for $50 also, and I just had this glockenspiel left, and I sold it for $50, and I paid $7 for it. Now this one was not in the greatest condition, and of course I disclosed on it that it was scratched up, but you know, it was a pretty cool instrument, and someone was willing to pay $50 plus ship for it. Okay, up next I have this vintage crewel floral artwork, and I bought this at a church sale for $2, and I just love crewel work. Every time I see crewel work or cross stitch embroidery or something that was hand painted, I pick it up. And it almost always goes very quickly. A lot of these things are becoming a lost art because people aren't doing hand-stitched work like this anymore. And people do love it. And it also fits in the cottagecore aesthetic. And that's really, really big right now. So I always use that keyword. Maybe I'm overusing it. I don't know. But this sold in a matter of days for $35. Up next is this Mary Dunbar set. I got this at a yard sale in my neighborhood. I paid $2 each piece for these, and originally I was gonna sell them separately, but once I got them home and started cleaning them up, I realized that they were yellowed and they had a few flaws, like along this gold accent paint on here, and I just thought, well, let me just put it all together. It'd be easier. And the buyer would save on shipping. So this sold for $45 plus ship, and the buyer was very happy, very pleased with it when she got it. Up next, from that same church sale that I got that other crewel work, I also picked up this giant daisy piece of artwork. And it was huge. So it was about 10 inches wide by 35, 36 inches long. It was very big. And of course, it's hard to comp something like this because there are no other ones like it. There's nothing like it that sold. So I just thought, well, it's a handmade piece of artwork. What sounds good to me? And so I put $60 on it, and it sold overnight on Facebook Marketplace. I was very pleased with that. Okay, from that same church sale, I picked up these Patagonia baggy swim trunks, and I almost never find Patagonia. There is not a Patagonia store or anywhere that sells Patagonia near me. But these sold for $35, again on Facebook Marketplace. Oh my gosh, I hate the background of this picture. This is before I knew about Photo Room. If you're not using Photo Room, if you've noticed in some of my previous pictures that the background is taken out and it looks nice and neat, that's what I'm using is Photo Room. And you can use that for free. You don't have to pay to use a subscription. Anyway, so I picked this up at the bin store for $7, again, before the world was about to end. And so I had been sitting on this for quite some time. I thought, well, this would be a perfect New Year's Eve dress or a perfect prom dress or whatever. And it's a great brand. And it was so pretty. I just love this confetti sequence. I mean, I wish I had, somewhere proper to wear this. Oh, that's a blurry picture. I swear I wasn't drunk there. But anyway, so I sold this for $100 on Facebook Marketplace. So $7 into $100. Very happy with that, even if I had to sit on it for a while. And my last item that I'm going to share with you from Facebook Marketplace is this guitar that's smiling at you like he's part of the Pee Wee Herman set. Anyways, I paid $5 for this Fender guitar, and it sold for $35. I put it for parts repair only. I don't remember if it was because I couldn't test this item or if I legit couldn't get it to work. But anyway, so I disclosed that it was for parts, and I wish I would have put fair down here, but that was my mistake. Anyways, it sold for parts and repair only for $35. Alright, up next we have my favorite platform, and that's Mercari. And so the first item that I have here is this Bratzilla Magic Fortune Crystal Ball. I paid $1 for this, and it sold for $44. And this was pretty cool. You could press the button and it would say something really creepy. It was kind of like the disembodied head from the Haunted Mansion on here. But $1 into $44. Up next is this vintage Baby Connection diaper bag that I picked up for $3, and it sold instantly. I mean instantly on Mercari. So if you see any of these vintage diaper bags from like the 80s or 90s, something that you might have had when you were a kid, or maybe you used for your kids, list them. People are looking for them. I had someone else message me asking me if I had any more or different ones. And I've only seen one other one. I do have that one listed. And so this one was kind of a shot in the dark with the price. And I did price it a little bit lower because it had this staining on it. It's really hard to see here on this picture here, but it had some staining around the edge. So I priced it a little bit lower. Next up, I have this Fisher-Price Little People Safari Zoo. And I paid $20 for this at a kids consignment sale. And I have sold one of these before also. And I don't know, they're really a beast to pack up and ship. I don't know if I'm going to pick them up anymore. Maybe I will. I probably will. Let's be for real, I probably will. I paid $20 for this, and I flipped it for $84. These things are massive, and I know you think, oh, well, that doesn't look that big, but no, these are huge. So this is about 26 inches tall, and I think about 3 feet long, and they do not, unfortunately, come apart to ship it or store it or anything. So it was really hard to find mini boxes to cobble together like a Frankenstein to ship this item out. So anyways, but people are looking for these, and this one had all the animals, and so this thing makes different sounds. It's really a cool toy. Up next is another Fisher-Price set. This one I picked up for only $1 at the Goodwill, and I flipped it for $35, and this was only part of the set. It was actually supposed to have other parts that connected to here and to here, and it was supposed to, have some minifigs, but it only had, what you see here is what you get, what you see, what you get. And that sold, for $35. Next up is this vintage wicker wall shelf that I picked up at a thrift store. One of my favorite thrift stores. I got this one at for $5, and it was this really pretty coral color. And I had so many people try to take this out of my cart when I was shopping because it was such a great find. And I don't know, this goes back to the cottagecore, the grandma aesthetic that people are really into right now. So if you see anything that's rattan, pick it up, because I have sold other pieces and I'm going to show you another one in the next video. And people just love these. I mean, they just love them. It fits the boho vibe, the cottagecore vibe. So pick them up. Up next is this Bow Dabra maker, and it was brand new in package. And do you ever pick up something and think, you know, I'm gonna use this all the time? Oh yeah, well this is a VHS. Somebody picked this up probably in the 80s or 90s and never put their hot little hands on it. It's crazy. But $3 into $35, and these are definitely a bolo. People are looking for these, especially during the holidays. People are gonna really want these to make really pretty bows. Okay, this is a Ralph Lauren duffel bag tote that I picked up for $10, and I couldn't find another one like it when I was running comps with this same gold crown type logo. So again, I kind of just made up the price the best that I could based on other duffel bags that were from the same brand and of this, you know, same quality. Anyway, so $10 into $71. And I think now that people are traveling again, luggage is going to be worth picking up. Like this I had for quite some time. I think I bought it January or February of last year, and it just took, you know, over a year to sell. But I think if I was to pick it up today, something like this would sell pretty quickly. Up next, from that same estate sale that I sold that Revlon perfume, I picked up this Ralph Lauren Safari perfume. Oh, she's drifting off. Okay, so I paid $10 for this Safari perfume, and it sold, I think, in about a week for $60, and it wasn't even full. And like, as I say before, always put it on a scale so people know exactly what they're getting. This is from my favorite show / dolls from when I was a kid. It's Gem. She's truly outrageous. She's fabulous. This is her friend Rio, her boyfriend. And he, as you can see, he's showing off his pecs here. He's missing his shirt, but he's missing his shoes. I don't know what happened that night. No shoes, no shirt. Gem didn't have a problem. He sold for 50 bucks, and I paid $2 for him at a kids consignment sale. And my last item I'm going to show you from Mercari is this vintage pink baby blanket. And again, I did a video last week on baby blankets and other blankets. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Blankets are a great bolo. People are willing to pay good money for them. As you can see, I paid $2 for this, and I sold it for $57, and it doesn't even have a brand. It's just made in the USA, so you know, you pretty much assume anything that's made in the USA is, you know, vintage item. And vintage is anything pretty much from the 90s and older. Now, I mean, I'm vintage, I guess. My kids all the time tell me I'm old. I'm just gonna start saying I'm vintage. Okay, and that's it for this video. You'll have to stay tuned for part 2 of what I sold in May. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a great big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and tell me if you've learned anything from this video, or maybe even comment something that you have sold yourself in May. And I just want to encourage you, if you're also reselling online and you feel like you're struggling a little bit, just keep going. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the more consistent your sales will get, and the better you will get, more profits you will get. You just got to keep going. All right, so I'll see you later. Bye.